What's up, guys? Welcome to this other edition of the Deep Learning Talk by NeuralLearn.ai. In this edition, we're going to talk about how training neural networks on very large datasets keeps the Tesla Autopilot aware. Libraries like PyTorch, TensorFlow, and Hugging Face are making it easier for anyone to create and train deep learning models irrespective of their computing power or dataset size. And with these libraries, it's possible for you to do transfer learning. In transfer learning, we train a backbone neural network with a large dataset like ImageNet to solve a specific problem, like for example classification. And then later on, when we're trying to solve a problem in which we have a small data set, like for example pothole detection, it's true we could get or create a data set or a very large data set of potholes, but generally you're not gonna find a pothole data set which is as large as the ImageNet data set. And so with this smaller data set, we're gonna use the backbone which was pre-trained on the ImageNet and then add up this extra layers right here at the head which is specific to this given task. And so instead of training this from scratch, we then use this backbone which was pre-trained from ImageNet, which permits us speed up the training process. Also note that using a library like TensorFlow, this transfer learning is made very easy. For example, if we have a backbone of MobileNet or a backbone of ResNet or VGG16, with this one line of code, we are able to obtain this pre-trained backbone on which we are going to stack up some other layers specific to the given task. But then a problem arises, which is that of finding a solution or building a model for a task which necessitates a dataset even way larger than the ImageNet itself. The ImageNet is about 11 million data points, which is very large, but then for some certain tasks this is also very small. And for this kind of task, we need to train the neural network on even larger data sets, like say 11 billion data points and even more. A company which is using this type of very large data sets is Tesla. And what is great is that they actually have the ability to easily get this large data sets, since they have a huge number of consumers of Tesla products. Just to give you an idea of this huge potential they have, is that in 2020 the Autopilot had recorded about 30 billion miles of driven distance, which gives them the ability to gather huge amounts of data in different kinds of environments. The director of AI in Tesla, Andrej Karpathy, in a talk in 2020 explains how they designed an in-house model with a shared backbone for the different tasks, and each task having its own head for specialized predictions. This leads to the conclusion that having experience in building and training large neural networks from scratch is important and should be considered when starting deep learning. This is one of the reasons why we decided not only to use pre-trained ConvNets, but also explain how they work and also train from scratch. And don't get me wrong, for most problems you would hardly ever need to train on data sets larger than the ImageNet or pre-train your backbone on a data set larger than ImageNet. In the description below, you have an article where Andrej Karpathy gives tips on how to train a neural network on this type of large data sets. In conclusion, it's important that when you get started, you use this pre-trained neural networks and later on master pre-training on your own.